this comic book called Quasar. I was obsessed with it when I was a kid.
You're still obsessed with Quasar.
Yes, I am.
Don't throw them out.
Be quiet. It's about this species of like half alien, half demon creatures with teeth on their backs,
Oh my
but
God,
on
just
their
call
planet.
them monsters.
On their planet. The scary stories they tell each other, they're all about us.
All right, Stephen, so can you just take us back to the moment where you suddenly begin to conceive of this slightly, shall we say, dysfunctional American family that's at the center of your play?
It was a long and winding road. I didn't start out thinking I was going to write a family drama. I was thinking a lot about fear and anxiety post 9/11, post financial crisis, and I was looking for a story that would let me talk about those things via hopefully a play that would be a little scary itself or fear-inducing. So I actually thought I was going to be writing something very genre, like a stage thriller.
Death Trap became the Humans in a way.
Yeah, and the more I fell in love with these characters and started to think about the specific existential horrors that were plaguing this particular group of people, and really everyone, fear of death, fear of losing the love of someone, fear of poverty, fear of ill health, illness, it took the shape of a real-time play that would let me sort of look at the horrors of everyday life in these sort of quiet moments.
I've been better for years. It's why I'm comfortable talking about it.
You take medicine for that?
Dad, that's rude to ask.
It's sorry.
Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry. It's just, in our family, we don't have that kind of depression.
Yeah, no, we just have a lot of stoic sadness.
Let's start with you, sir. Okay. I mean, tell me about thinking about this and what you wanted to do.
Well, I mean, the origins are, I wanted to write about the things that were keeping me up at night.
Right.
And I started to think about the way we all of us cope with our basement level fears. Right. And the first impulse in terms of story was constructing a family that, in which each family member was sort of born out of a big existential human fear, like fear of poverty, fear of ill health, fear of failure, criticism, fear of death, and that was sort of the
all
very
fears
early.
that most of us are familiar with.
Well, exactly. The whole point was that these are things that we all, at some point or another, are grappling with.
I'm sorry. It makes you wonder the kind of faith we grew up with. It's not perfect, but you take for granted what a kind of natural antidepressant it is.
No religion at the table.
My mouth is shut. You know where
Mom,
I stand.
you brought a statue of the Virgin Mary into our house.
Okay,
How is your mouth
guys,
shut?
I didn't mean to guys. It's just you put your faith in juice cleansing and
I did
yoga,
one
but
juice
you won't
cleanse.
try.
One.
My mouth is shut.
I mean, the show's really trying to pull this very quiet sort of string of dread and have it build throughout the course of the play and almost conjure the kind of anxiety that the play is exploring in some ways.
Tell your friends.
But on top of it, no, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this because Joe, obviously the play is about this family who so desperately loves each other, and it is very funny. And Joe had talked early on in rehearsals that he thought that the play was, to him, it felt like, if I'm misquoting you, stop me, but what love sort of looks like or feels like, that experience of watching these people need each other and hurt each other, and just the way that you guys take care of each other on stage. And I came across this quote yesterday on the subway about, because I had started from such a terror, anxiety, fear, dread place, this quote from, oh gosh, she's a 15th century mystic and I forget it now, but I was reading this essay, this woman invoked her, and it was love and dread are brothers. And suddenly I sort of saw the connection between the two for me, and I kind of, it made me feel better because I feel like some people, understandably, look, if you want to be at Mamma Mia, and I'm trying, and I do sometimes myself. You can't feel sorry or apologize for the fact that a play is trying to look at, it's looking at some basement level stuff. But for me, what's interesting, and Reed teases me about this a lot, because I say, like, am I weird? And he's like, yes, you are weird. But that's where you live. But it makes me feel less scared. It makes me feel less alone when I see theater that does that, that's not afraid to look at both the darkness and the light, that's not afraid to pull any punches about how terrifying the act of loving someone or losing someone, or but also isn't afraid to explore the joy of those things too, and the hilarity. I mean, families are hilarious and terrifying things. We all experience this when we go home for the holidays. They're both at once.
Look how young you are, Amy.
I am an elephant in this photo.
Beautiful.
And I'm holding a funnel cake. I can't even blame genetics.
One of the things that we've talked about from the very beginning is that such an accurate portrayal of this is what love looks like. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's quite vicious, and they exist side by side.
How's work for you? The restaurant pays me under the table so I can still collect unemployment, so that's been good. My career is... Hey, okay. I'm so glad that Rich and I decided to move in together. It was time, you know?
Yeah, he's great, Bridge.
Yeah, we were always at each other's place, so financially it was just stupid, you know? Rich made up this list of pros and cons to move in or not to move in. Amy, his lists. I found one posted to the fridge last week called Ways to Have Fun. Stuff like dance with yourself, take long walks at sunset, game nights.
That's endearing.
I know. I don't know. We were happy without making it so official, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, Carol and I broke up because we were unhappy. And now maybe loving someone long term is more about deciding whether to go through life unhappy alone or unhappy with someone else.
Rich can draw up a list of reasons why your breakup was a good thing if you want. I can ask him to draft a
shut
very
up.
long list.
I have to have that surgery.
What?
The one, well,
I thought you could put that off until your 60s.
this test showed it's just dysplasia, which means it's not cancer, but with colitis, it'll become cancer if they don't take it out. So
You lose the whole intestine?
it cures the disease, though. So, but yeah, they have to make a hole in your abdomen so that the waste can,
Do Mom and Dad know?
No. I don't want to discuss it at dinner. And I'm okay. I'm mostly just like, how am I going to find another girlfriend?
You're
I'm
a complete
serious.
catch.
I'm going to be pooing out of a hole in my abdomen. Who's going to
Amy,
date me?
lots of people.
Yeah, a lot of ugly people.
Amy.
A lot of troll ladies who have their own troll problems.
Stop.
Living under bridges.
If you out your ears, if they rerouted your colon to your ears, I'd still marry you.
When do I wait for the third date to be like, just FYI, I out of a hole in my belly? Is that a fifth date thing?
I'm sorry you have to go through all that.
I'm more worried about, did you notice Mom's knees going down the stairs?
Oh, yeah. I'm afraid to ask how her arthritis is or Dad's back.
What's
I don't
bothering
know.
him? Can't you tell?
No,
if
yeah, I
he's-
just assumed it's probably he hasn't been sleeping, right?
Is that the light?
Christmas, Momo. She always delivers a traditional Irish toast. It's ancient.
It's ancient and it's beautiful, but one year Amy's mind was in the gutter.
I was 12. And ever since, the blessing sounds kind of dirty.
To you guys, it sounds dirty.
Oh, what's the blessing?
May the Virgin and her child lift your latch on Christmas night.
So as these characters came to life and took shape, they became a family. As I thought about like a multi-generational group of characters, I started to create a family in which each of these people were attached to a specific fear. This is a very long-winded answer, but
No,
it's
no, it's fine.
I mean, it's just dispelling the myth that I actually had a light bulb moment. And and through that process, I built this family, and the idea of a real-time play came from my desire to explore these existential horrors in the everyday moments, in sort of the quieter moments, almost the interstitial moments of maybe what would be blackout moments in other family dramas. And that's the long-winded answer of like what actually got me started. But yeah, when I started writing, I thought I was going to be writing a thriller, like a very genre. And the more I grew attached to these characters, the more my love of the thriller genre and psychological horror receded into the background. And it's a family play that's, I think, inspired and infected by my love of that genre, instead of the reverse.
Okay, here we go. Why don't you start?
Okay, now I'm nervous. This year, I'm most thankful for falling in love with Bridget and for getting a new family in the process.
Aww.
Now,
That was a terrible smash.
what? No, you made me go first.
Rich, spine smash.
Okay, Dad, you go next.
Okay, I've already gave one speech, so let me just say, I'm thankful for your unconditional love and support. Hope there's nothing any of us can ever do to change that, what we've got right here, because this is what matters. This family.
All right. I'm with your dad. And it may sound cliche, but I'm thankful for the both of you.
Still, you said half your friends are in therapy. You said that,
That's
so I'm just
because-
asking.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to pay for mine. I still can't afford it.
Well, save some of the money you spend on organic juice and pay for it yourself.
Don't criticize me for caring about my mental health.
Okay.
What about Rich's mom is a therapist? Why don't you get it from her?
Yeah, Dad, I'll get therapy from my mother-in-law. That's an awesome idea.
She's not your mother-in-law unless you get married.
I mean, I think to your point about the play being kind of celebratory and funny and actually kind of joyous, although I started from this I started talking about how it's from this fear-based place, but ultimately the play ends up being the way this particular family, I think, vanquishes their fears or comes together, and through this kind of imperfect but really deep love, you sort of see the way that they have this astonishing resilience.
Dad, we're waiting for you. You want to start us off?
No, I always start too high. You yell at me.
Oh, of all the money.
Oh my God, right here. That is a terrible key for me. Okay, Moms. Of all the money that e'er I had, I lost it in good company. Ladies? And of all the harm that e'er I done, alas, was done to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, till memory now I can't recall. Lay down your fears and raise your glass. May peace and joy be with you all.
Ladies' turn.
Yeah, singing.
Oh, may all the friends that e'er I had, they'd be sorry at my going away. I'm a lawyer, Rich. And may all the sweethearts that e'er I had,
They would wish me one more day to stay.
And if I had money enough to spend and leisure time to sit a while.
it's not embarrassing at all. Thank you.
There is a maiden in this town who sorely has my heart beguiled.
Yeah, it better be me.